there, and welcome back to Weird Soda for Life. Now I hear you. Weird Soda for Life, there's something different about you this week. You look more elegant, more dapper. And for that, I say thank you for noticing. And why I am dressed like this is because today we are trying Guarana Antarctica. That's right, it's our first soda from Antarctica, as you can see on the Brazilian original. What the hell? What? You mean I got in this getup for nothing? Well, at least I still look good, I guess. Anyway, welcome back to Word Soda for Life. Yes, we are in fact trying Guarana Antarctica, and as was obvious to everyone, this is actually not an Antarctic soda. I would love to try an Antarctic soda if there is one at some point, but like I don't know if it is. But what's really cool is that this is actually our first Brazilian soda on the channel. Um, as has been a really cool thing since I've started drinking a lot of sodas is that I get to try things from a lot of places that I haven't been. Actually, Antarctica. I've never been to Antarctica, but I've also never been to Brazil. Now, Mr. Weird, who you've seen on the channel, has been to Brazil, but I have not. Um, but it's kind of cool because with these sodas, I feel like I kind of get to travel the world a little bit from the comfort of my office slash storage room. Um, and if for those of you who don't know how I got this soda, this is actually yet another one of a friend of the channel and Amish market acquisitions. I do have some questions because between like last week's soda, this week's soda, and slight spoiler, next week's soda, there are a lot of like international sodas making its way to this Amish market. And I'm kind of wondering how they got here. But anyway, back to this. Um, I'm sure you kind of have some questions about like why does it say Antarctica? So let's start a little bit with the history of the soda. Guarana Antarctica was created by a dude named Pedro Batista de Andrade in 1921. So like this soda is over 100 years old, and it was for a company called Companhia Antarctica Paulista. Um, and that's a heck of a mouthful. And if you guys like actually know like my legal name, I am familiar with that. Um, Believe it or not, this is not the first soda to use guarana in its like mix. The first soda was actually 1906, but funnily enough, this is the first soda that was like, you know what? Wild idea. Why don't we try to make this fruit thing tasty? Um, for those of you who read the labels of energy drinks, you know I've made no bones about it on the channel that I'm a huge energy drink aficionado. You tend to see guarana in a lot of them. It is like a caffeine sort of energy booster sort of thing, and so folks drank it for that benefit. Is that they drank it to wake up and to be energetic. And so, as myself, when I drink energy drinks, I kind of don't care about the taste. What I care about, does it wake me up in the morning? And that's kind of what people focused on with this soda and like the fruit and those drinks that they were making. But Pedro said, you know what? Why do we have to suffer to be awake? And frankly, since all life is suffering while you're awake, I'm with him. So he makes it drinkable, and slowly but surely it spreads across the world. Now, what I find fascinating is that this is actually only made, like actually manufactured in 5 countries. Obviously, Brazil, Portugal, which is a little bit of a surprise, but not really because Portugal colonized Brazil. You have Argentina, that's not really a surprise. Bolivia is not really a surprise either, and Japan. Um, so, if you don't know a lot about Japan's history in South America, it's worth a read. This penguin is trying to subsume me. It's so you can't see my eyes. These are my real eyes, I guess. But in all seriousness, it's an utterly fascinating thing if you want to look into it, but I'm going to spare you today. But, so you're like, great, Weird Soda for Life. You've told me all this stuff. Again, what's with the Antarctica part? Um, So, although this soda was made in 1921 by, again, Companhia Antarctica Paulista, it's this company's origins are actually a little bit older than that. So they started in 1885, and their big product was ice. This is before the days of refrigeration. So, when this company is founded in Sao Paulo, incidentally, Paulista, if you were wondering, is like a adjective describing people from Sao Paulo. Um, so when they start this company in 1885, selling ice for refrigeration, they think to themselves, how can we get across that we are cooler than cool? And nobody was out there shouting, ice cold! What they were shouting was, how about a country and slash continent that's made completely of ice? Antarctica. So they associated themselves with this. And as they kind of started branching out into beer and soda and things like that, they kept the Antarctica association because cool ice, cool drinks, it kind of seems like a no-brainer. With that, let's see what we've gotten ourselves into because I have to admit, as I said last week, other than having guarana in energy drinks, I've never actually had it on its own. So let's try it out. And I realized I didn't let you guys actually take a real look at the can. So, like, the berries on top, of course, are the berry. You can see it's the Brazilian original. There is apparently a Guarana Antarctica Zero, but I think it just might be in Brazil. And even so, like, I think it's just cool to try this stuff. Um, and then in the midst of the Amazon, I was going to say the Alaskan rainforest. That's not even near Antarctica. But in the midst of the Amazon rainforest grows an exotic berry called guarana that bears the soul and spirit of our land and people. Take your first sip, and you'll discover my flavor unlike anything else and as unique as we are. Guarana. And actually, as I'm seeing on here, and I'll show you guys this in a second, this isn't an official sponsor of the Brazilian soccer team. I know you want me to say football, but like, look, I'm in America, so yeah, forgive me. But like, I didn't make that weird poetry up. Here it is. But that's kind of cool. Um, Again, with that, back to our regularly scheduled program. It smells a little like tart, I guess, is maybe what I would go with. It kind of like a sour apple of sorts, if that's a kind of a good equivalent. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, dunk, y'all. Look, it kind of looks like Red Bull. um, but also, I'm a little sick. So that delicious audio was me trying not to die on camera in a penguin onesie, because then how would Mr. Weird explain that to the police? Um, yeah, but it smells quite tart. Like it's gonna be like I almost want to equate it to how a Granny Smith apple tastes in your mouth. That's how it smells. With that, thumbs up. That's really good. I would equate it to almost like an apple cider. It's got the little tartness of, I mean, I know it's not apple, and I realize, when you smell stuff, your brain makes an association in your head, but it kind of really does taste like a fizzy sort of apple cider of sorts. Um, I found that very pleasant. I would drink that again in a heartbeat. It's sweet, but not too sweet. It's got a little bit of tartness, but like not too tart. And it's easy to drink. So shout out to Pedro for doing the Lord's work and making apparently a berry that I believe was described as almost astringent tasting into something really delicious. I can totally see why this took off. I can totally see why people in Brazil drink it. I would get more of this. And in fact, this is the second week in a row where I've been like, but I want more. So, gonna need to find where this Amish market is. And I won't tell you because it's for me now. With that, I would go get it. Sorry. Go get this if you can find it. I would absolutely would recommend it. That was what a joy. With that, next week, we are wrapping up Anne's Amish adventure with Sidral Mundet. Mundet? I, I'm sure I've butchered that. Which is a Mexican apple soda. So really, we are just kind of rolling in this like fruity theme from the Amish people. Until next time, drink weird and name your company after other continents because it adds an air of mystery to like whatever it is you're trying to market. Uh, and if you do that, give me a cut. See you next time.